Hey folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com and we'll take a look at them in a little while. So today's deck list isn't supported by anyone. This is one I'm just kind of playing out of the goodness of my heart. My heart kind of melted as we were doing the charity video, and I'm like 48 hours after posting that video, and we've already raised about $3,000, which will be matched up to $6,000, which is kind of crazy because I'm just like a guy who records magic videos and I just did that. Well, like not me. Like I started it. You all were the ones who really raised the money, you know? So I'm just playing the deck list that I saw that looked like the funnest from a recent 5.0 deck list dump, just to give you all something kind of crazy to watch today. So this is essentially a Mardu scam deck list. The scam deck list tends to refer to like these various pitch elementals and their ability to be brought back or recycled with cards like Ephemerate. Now, if you take a look at essentially the mana costs of this deck list, there's very few 1-drops, very few 2-drops, and our early interaction are essentially these pitch elementals. And so our goal is to play one of them and either blink it or bring it back with Brought Back, which lets us choose up to 2 target permanent cards in our graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn and return them to the battlefield tapped. Now, we could do something as simple as play fetch land, crack both on turn 2, bring them back, and jump ahead 2 mana. Or maybe in a more ambitious world, we could play 2 pitch elementals, wipe our opponent's board, take a card out of their hand, bring both of them back. It can do a lot. And the reason I'm so excited about this deck list is actually that it has a very neat card that there's no possible way you're going to be able to read the text of because it's very small on Magic Online. It's Showdown of the Skalds, which is a saga. At the first stage of the saga, you exile the top 4 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you can play those cards. And for stages 2 and 3, whenever you cast a spell this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. So imagine that you effectively get a pseudo draw 4 effect. Like, let's say you have Fury in play. You cast 2 or 3 spells over your next couple of turns, you put that many counters on Fury, and since it has double strike, it's disgusting. Well, it could be double strike, or lifelink, or it could be an evasive creature with menace. There's kind of a lot going on. Now, since we are going to be playing 3 different pitch elementals, we need some multicolored cards to round things out. We have a fantastic way of becoming the monarch. And Queen Marchesa, you can argue in the comments about how it's going to be pronounced. I know you're going to do it because you did it last time around. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the monarch, you get a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste. So you're going to get these tokens that are going to be good at helping you keep and maintain the monarch. And because we're not playing very many 1-drops, we can get away with some things like Hidetsu, Consumes All. I'd Hollow Sculler, while maybe not really a legacy power level card, happens to be a white and black card that can help pitch to our elementals, while also being something that's disruptive for the combo matchups. If you take a quick look at the sideboard, it's very, very heavily tuned to beat combo decks because like we're a pretty fair deck here. We're looking to beat up fair decks with Solitudes and Furies, and while we have some stuff for combo, we need a pile of hate for the post sideboard games to make this happen. Yeah, so I don't really think this deck is going to be good, but I think this deck is going to be very fun, and I think it's going to create some great moments, and that's why I really wanted to play it. And hopefully we copy some elementals a disgusting number of times and trigger our opponents as well as our own creatures. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hop into the matches here. If you're new here and you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you're a regular, throw me a like before this video begins. That is the easiest way to support my content for free. And I'm kind of coming out of an algorithm slump, and I really need it right now. So it's very much appreciated. All right, let's battle. Okay, I don't think I like this opening hand. It doesn't actually produce a threat in any capacity. Like, it becomes very good if I draw an Ephemerate or a Brought Back, but I think without either one of those things, I'm not a big fan of this hand. I think I'm going to pitch this one and try to do better. Oh, this isn't better. So this would be a 6-card hand that has a single land drop here. No ability to get this Fable into play. No ability to cast Swords of Plowshares. No ability to pitch Grief. We're going to go to 5 here. Ooh, alright. So my opponent is also going to 5. So we would very much like a Grief-based hand if possible. It was not possible. On 5, I will be keeping this hand. I'm not overly excited about it. I think a Solitude is going to go back, and I think I keep 3 lands. Maybe I keep 2 lands. I'll probably draw another land in 3 draws. This lets me pitch cast the Fury if I need to in the early game, and then get to this. Oh! Probably playing against the initiative, in which case I'm pretty happy to have Fury. But that is probably going to be a dead draw here. I need to get an actual creature into play, so I need like a Brought Back or something so that I can like kill a creature and then like bring it back or ephemerate it. I haven't seen either one of those cards in 3 mulligans. Okay. So this is a white Urza's Saga deck list. On Legacy? Like Legacy League. Legacy League. I have no fucking idea what we're playing against. Yes. Yes, I do like this. So both of these need to fetch something white. So let's fetch. Get a scrubland with one. A plateau with the other. Do I want to just bring back the 2 lands? Or do I want to present a threat now? I think I would like to present a threat now. This may be a mistake, but I feel like having this in play so that I can just copy it later is pretty strong. Don't need to do anything there. Alright, so I'm +1 land drop for the turn, and I have a Fury in play. I went down some resources to do that, so this will look a little weird versus like a Swords to Plowshares. But like I don't understand what I'm looking at here. And I play a lot of weird stuff, so when I get stumped... Okay. Oh, wow, they are going to put that in there. My opponent can make a 2/2 whenever they want. Let's crash in for 6 damage. Is this like a weird standstill deck? Kind of feels like a weird standstill deck. And I want this to be able to make black-red, I think. I want black-black for Grief in theory. Now we'll drop a Fable. Alright, and it did resolve. How my next turn cycle goes really depends on like what I draw and what I decide to do with Fable of the Mirrorbreaker's middle ability of looting. Because like, I have, at least on board right now, a 4th mana. Something is happening. Okay, it is a prismatic ending. It's okay, this is still a very absurd amount of damage. Ooh. Don't mind if I do. Let's crash in with this. Get an extra treasure. This is a lot of damage. And griefing my opponent is actually a little weird because of this. I think I just play Fable of the Mirrorbreaker and hold up Ephemerate on Fury. Yeah. That feels nice. Oh, opponent's chilling. I think I'm inclined to get rid of my grief against the opposing currency converter. But I think I like keeping Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Alright, we'll just discard the 1. Pick up a new land. Land is, in theory, worse than the card that I just discarded. But I don't think that matters much. Alright, yeah, it is a weird, like, Shark Typhoon, like, Timeless Dragon, discardy deck. Why Steam Vents, though? Like, is this a Field of the Dead deck, too? So if I want, I can Ephemerate Fury and kill both of those. I don't really care about losing one of these, though. Like, this is A-okay with me thus far. Opponent goes to 10 from this, and then, like an absolute maniac, I just drop another one of these and get another shaman. I wonder if this is someone testing for their local legacy event with the cards that are actually in their deck. Green Verdict's annoying here. This just kind of instantly happens. Okay. Hopefully this just kind of bails me out, though. I'm gonna say yes to this. I think I get rid of both. I don't know, the Ephemerate's not bad. Let's just get rid of the Plateau. I'm not a big fan of the Triome there. I'll cycle it. And we picked up another land. I don't think I play that. So if you end up having two of these, you can do something kind of sweet, where you copy one of them, it makes a new copy, and then you can copy another one of them. You can make a number of copies equal to like the amount of mana that you have. All right. Go ahead and just proceed to the next turn here. Showdown of the Skalds. Well, now I've got a reason to tap some mana and do some stuff. I think I do just go ahead and drop this. It's a lot of mana, but it should have a very, very large impact on the game. Ooh, Force of Will's rough there. Okay, we'll proceed to our opponent's end step. And at that end step, I'll probably attempt to make a whole bunch of tokens. Opponent's got something. Prismatic Ending? Question mark? No, they've untapped. Retapped. That is a Prismatic Ending on this. So I'm going to go ahead and respond to that. Let's go ahead and fetch. I'll grab a new land of some kind. Black, black, red, red. Don't have no idea of white, white. Okay, so I kind of have everything. Doesn't matter too much. I'm going to go ahead and make a token. The copy of that. This one can still copy things. And I'm going to go ahead and ephemerate the original. Ooh, my opponent is responding. What happens? All right, they're brainstorming in response. Okay, and they are willing to concede at this point. Fantastic. West defense. I'm like trying to come up with a real reason why someone might want to lower their life total in that shell rather than play Volcanic Island. And like from the look of things, it doesn't look like they're playing 4x Volcanic Islands, and Steam Vents is the 5th one. So IDK. I imagine I'm not doing too much here in terms of sideboarding. Hollow Sculler is maybe not at its best here. And I'm viewing Solitude and Fury largely as things that attack. Yeah, I'm not overly excited about this. I think these are going to go for some blasts. And then maybe I play like one answer to like a currency converter of some kind. I probably can't go too wrong by playing a Wear Tear. And I have Hidetsu Consumes All and Wear Tear as answer to those things. So that was a game where we both mulliganed pretty deep. I am not excited about this hand. Is this hand a mulligan? I have Red Elemental Blast and Source of Plowshares to answer my opponent's initial threats. I have a legitimate draw 4 card for later, and it's very strong if I draw a Brought Back or Ephemerate, probably. And pretty bad if I don't. I think I'm willing to mulligan once and keep a similar power level hand a second time. Yeah, this is totally fine. I think I want to keep all 3 of my lands here. I'm going to throw back the Wear Tear, despite the fact that like it is a very good card to pitch to stuff. I don't think I'm going all in on producing a 3/3 Double Striker on turn 1 versus a Source of Plowshares deck. I think this game's going to end up being a little slower. No shuffle from my opponent. Oh yeah, that's the sort of thing that I like to see. I think I'd use that to hit 2 land drops next turn. Like I would in theory be quite happy with that. That is a standstill. This is not unexpected. So Brought Back is an instant. I am Very potentially going to just play that in my opponent's end step. That would put them on 8 cards. They maybe have to discard. I could wait on this and continue to make land drops. I want to play that game. Yeah, I think I'll play that game. Like, until I'm missing land drops, I'm probably okay. I'm, like, not that bad versus a Timeless Dragon right now. I don't, like, super mind giving my opponent a chance to cycle and then put one in play. Yeah, if you're just making a 1/1 shark, that's not that scary for me. This is totally fine thus far. I'll take one. My opponent is waiting to pay costs. Okay, they do have a Timeless Dragon. So after they play that, they're at 5 cards in hand. I think I go ahead and pull the trigger here. I want things that produce white mana and red mana, so I'll maybe get a scrubland with one of these. That'll get me to Brought Back. I'll take a plateau, so I have red available. Target both my lands. I will give my opponent the draw 3. And then we'll see if this does resolve. Okay, it does. That gets me pretty far ahead in terms of mana ramp, and hopefully lets me do some cool things. My opponent discards. Yeah, we played around that stand still pretty well. I'm quite happy with that. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana for this turn cycle. I think I want to cast Fury after Timeless Dragon happens. Let's drop a basic here. I'm going to fetch. Put a basic planes into play. I'm going to be cognizant of back to basics. Okay, my stuff's just resolving. That's cool. Then I have Ephemerate and Swords to Plowshares available. Fury next turn for after Timeless Dragon happens. Swords to Plowshares is fine. I'm going to remove... No, I'll take one more damage from that shark. This is not currently a creature, so I can't Ephemerate that, unfortunately. To get cute like I did last time. And I think I am willing to take 1 damage here to just kind of manipulate the timing at which I cast this Swords to Plowshares. The new standstill. Not the biggest fan of that. I can at least clear the board. Then that occurs. All of Heliod's Generosity. I can put an enchantment back, which can recycle standstills. And that's cute. Fetch a tapped Triome here, so I never have to deal with that land. I think so. I lose a little bit of brought back value if I happen to draw one of those, though. Showdown of the Skalds is a very good thing to play into a standstill. I think I just wait, though. I would like more cards in hand before I crack this standstill. I think I can take a hit from a Timeless Dragon before I do that. But I'm just, like, not super comfortable with the idea that I can beat my opponent with the resources that I currently have. Like, this is very strong, but I don't... While I'm at 16, I don't feel like I need to do this immediately. How's that? That enough? Cast a Showdown of the Skalds with Pyroblast available. I think I take one more hit. I think I'm just a little better off if I have more cards in hand and my opponent's not immediately going for Shark Typhoon nonsense. Yeah, like I'm much more comfortable casting this now. Alright, so you get to draw 3. And then let's see. It feels like Hardcast Force of Will is somewhat likely here. Oh, okay, it just occurred. Nice, nice. I will play a Scrubland. There's 4 things in play. I think I can evoke this from here, right? Yeah, I can evoke this from here. This is a little odd. Wish I had another white card in hand, but this at least clears the board. And play this until the end of my next turn, so I'll just kind of wait on that. I think I just need a creature in play now so that I can really try to pump something up next turn. Alright, now I've got Pyroblast available for some nonsense. Something big is coming. A Shark Typhoon? It is indeed a pretty large Shark Typhoon. I think I will just blast the token. Bam. Now, like, my opponent has 8 cards here. I am expecting bad things to happen to me. Another land drop. Is this a target creature I control? But +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay, cool. 3 mana. Is like a prismatic ending. Yep. There a follow-up standstill as well? There's a currency converter, sure. Overall isn't that bad. So I am just going to cast this. This is just purely so that I can put like start putting counters on my other stuff as I do other cool things here. Let's do a Bloodstain Mire, Batch. Ooh, we are very light on fetchables now, huh? Play a new Showdown of the Skalds. Make my creature bigger. These are very good cards that I can't cast this turn, but should make my next turn great. This is very fun, folks. I am enjoying this deck a lot. Like, I have played a Showdown of the Scalds into a Showdown of the Scalds into a Showdown of the Scalds. Like, my opponent has gotten a couple draw 3s from standstills, and I have gotten draw 4s from Showdown of the Scalds. This is sick. You like to prismatic ending my Showdown of the Scalds. I don't think you would. Oh, that was a Swords to Plowshares. Sorry, I was drinking water, and I don't think I narrated that in time. I gained a few life. Oh, a new Fury. So I guess I'll just start by casting this. Alright, there's Fury. No damage anywhere. Oh, this says permanent card. This says permanent card. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna put this land into play, though. I think it's worth it to just use that on one of those. So we'll alright, I need to always yield to those. Oh, this Fury is going to be big. Oh my gosh. This is so fucking sick. I love this deck so much. Alright, so let's go ahead and destroy Currency Converter, I guess. I need the wear side, target Currency Converter. Bam. Absolutely, absolutely disgusting. And at least for the moment, we have Red Elemental Blast backup. So if my opponent responds to this, I just go boop. Oh, okay, that's cute. Timeless Dragon synergy. Okay, sure. Get a 2/2 out of that. I guess I can Swords to Plowshares that token, because I think one of the swords is or I guess there's a swords. I guess that's disappearing this turn. So this is this turn, this is next turn, next turn, this turn, next turn, next turn. Okay, so I don't need to make my choice now. I can keep holding Ephemerate up. A Hall of Heliod's Generosity on a Shark Typhoon. That is currently not a real problem. Like with a Solitude in exile and all these other things going on. Sure, make your land drop. Alright. Now it's my turn. And I'm about to do some stuff. This has flash. I guess Swords to Plowshares also like has effective flash, so there's that. Alright. Attempt a Solitude. This creature, if it connects, is damn close to a one-hit KO. We'll leave up white here. I think these are just going on the Furies still. Just so big. This deck is insane. Attempt to hit you for 22. Would you like to respond? Alright, there is an attempt at a blocker. Both of these are until the end of this turn. I think I start with swords on that. Just get that out of the way. We'll continue to stockpile counters here. This is 26 incoming damage. Will it work? Maybe. Maybe it will. Oh, come on. I want this so bad. Ooh, it's the Wandering Emperor. Sure. Now my opponent's going to attempt to exile that. I will say no. And now we'll stack up some counters elsewhere. Stack those up on Solitude. Fury. Now kills Wandering Emperor, so my opponent doesn't get a chump blocker. This deck is amazing. I'll be sad if my opponent has a Supreme Verdict now, though. Like, that would be pretty rough. Yeah. Now my opponent can play a Timeless Dragon. I've got clock concerns here. Alright, that's a standstill going back on top of deck. Sure. They can ponder to draw it. I can make a 2-2. Not exactly going to be a great 2-2. Is a 2-2. Ooh. I think I like this. A little awkward. I think I am going to keep that. Sorry, my 2-2 is dead. Alright, have your cards. I'm mostly doing this to nuke the graveyard and stop the looping of these things. I also think I have probably lost this game. I'm going to try to grind some clock back, because I think I can win games much faster than my opponent can. I'm going to try to grind back like 2 minutes of clock here. And just get us at least back to even, if possible. A wear tear. That's very annoying for me. Yep. Okay, another island. Opponent has tapped and untapped a bunch of lands. Alright, they are eternalizing. That's fine, it's quite good for them. Alright. Just gonna kind of fire off spells quickly here. Again, I kind of think my opponent has the inevitability here, and I am mostly looking to take time off their clock. I've already caught up by like 1 minute and 30 seconds. So my overall strategy is probably going to work pretty well. Oh, okay. Urza Saga is something we haven't seen. I kind of expected that with Currency Converter. There is a standstill. I'll take 4. I can make a whole bunch of Reflection of Kiki Jikis at my opponent's end step. That's not nothing. I might actually just kill my opponent. I'm going to make a whole bunch of these. Or no, I can't. It's another target creature. Alright. In that case, grind clock. This isn't great versus Caracas, but it's going to cause my opponent to do a very large number of clicks. Both of those at Narset. Yeah, it's fine. I'm currently F6'd. I'm going to accept that I might draw a flash thing that might be awkward with this. Oh, fuck, Narset, yep. Alright, so this is the Shark Typhoon coming back again. Yeah, and like this is me like fully in I am trying to take game actions and slow my opponent down mode. Like, I know that I have lost this one. Another standstill. Cool. So this probably actually slows my opponent down more if I don't just attack with this. It's going to create a bunch of tokens. Alright, so there's my opponent making a large shark. Theoretical lethal in the air. We've got a bunch of stuff they have to click through. Alright, they have failed to find. Words is fine. That actually keeps me alive for another turn. But my opponent is also in I am clicking on cards mode. So this is okay. Hydra Blast, very good to know about. Sure. You can take a card end of turn. Actually wasn't that far away from just milling my opponent out. I'm going to go ahead and do some fetching here. Put myself to 1. Oh, I could have fetched that one. Thought I had 0 left in deck, but that was not true. Yeah. So we are up about 1.5 minutes on clock, and my opponent's deck closes out the game much slower than mine does. That means I am probably playing towards a timeout win rather than just a kill. Do I want to play Tide Hollow Sculler because it slows my opponent down? I legit might. Like, I could go into full griefer mode, like board in Leyline, Stony Silence, Tide Hollow Sculler. If I make my deck that bad, I might not actually be able to kill if that is something that I need to do. I think I'm fully playing towards a timeout, but yeah, I think I'm just going to call this good. This has lands. It's not that good. I think I will skip that and look for something slightly better. Doesn't do anything. I'll go to 5. This is totally fine. Ephemerate and 1 land will go back here. Alright, I'll just pass the turn. Every decision that my opponent has to make is just going to slow them down a lot. And their standstills aren't particularly good right now. Yeah, your Ponder's fine. Yeah, you know, if they spend 10 seconds per cantrip or whatever, it's kind of rough. Currency Converter's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just respond to that for my own sanity. Let's go Plateau, into Scrubland, into Brought Back. And then I can call it a turn here. Totally happy with this. I'm going to fetch out a bunch of lands. Grab a Plains. Grab a Swamp. Grab something that produces red. Probably a Badlands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play the Queen. Come the Monarch. Bash in for 3. I will be holding up Ephemerate. And apparently Solitude as well. That's really good. I will say no to that. Nice. Alright. I'm not going to rebound that. Land drop. Attack for 3. Boom. Hydroblast is fine at this point. Yeah, I'll draw a card. I will probably play an end of turn Solitude just to stay aggressive. Especially since I just have another. I just want to keep the pressure up here. Counterspell is fine. Alright. Land drop, pass. I'll do another end of turn Solitude on my opponent's turn in all likelihood. Sure, that's fine. That's not actually creating a creature. That is creating a creature. I'm going to draw my card first. Good choice. I'll go ahead and Solitude that away. I still have a Pyroblast up for something big and scary. Nice. Cool. I'm going to hold this land for the purposes of a Fable. Okay. Let's go ahead and just kill that, so that my opponent can't clear my board. Okay, they've got a 2/2. Okay. I'm still the Monarch, though, at the end of the day. I need to loot through this stuff. Great. This is now bad. Oh, Brought Back is almost good. Oh, that's a disaster. That doesn't get Pyroblasted. Uh-huh. It's kind of crazy that my opponent had Shark Typhoon, Wandering Emperor without casting more than 1 manipulation spell. I still don't know that they can kill me in a reasonable amount of time, but Wandering Emperor will probably spiral pretty quickly. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. Wow. That is a 3rd Shark Typhoon, naturally, which is very annoying with that. Sure. Yeah, I just need like 1 Fury, and I'm going to try to hold Pyroblast so that when I draw something relevant, it will just be very good. Well, towards the creature that they try to make bigger, though. Wow, what an insanely aggressive draw without casting any cantrips that take time off of their clock. Fine. I had F6'd there. I just have to fire this off. Let my opponent draw. Take something that's a removal spell from their hand. Bit of a nuisance. Opponent's got 28 seconds left. So at this point, I probably Pyroblast a Shark token. Bam. Raid those creatures. Take 4, go to 7. And opponent's going to time out here. Alright, we have gotten the GGs. So not the most exciting way to win the matchup, but my opponent's draw was crazy there. I don't know that I could have beaten them if we were playing that at a normal pace. I would have been able to get a Grief back this turn, and like I could have played a little tighter with more time, but like the top of my deck was a lot of land here. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. This is the place where I keep all of my deck lists, and I really love the fact that I can sort these just so efficiently into folders, because I I make a lot of deck lists, folks, and knowing like where these decks are is very valuable for me, as well as my viewers who are trying to hunt down, my EDH decks, legacy decks, or whatever. I love this place as a deck hosting website, and please consider checking them out. That was one round. This is round two. I think my hand's an auto mulligan here. The 6 is a white source away from being quite good. Do I want to go to 5, or do I want to hope to draw a white source? What am I looking at in terms of raw probability here? 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18 white sources. Probably 2 draws to do it. Reluctant keep? I think reluctant keep getting rid of Tide Hollow Sculler. Opponent asks if there's some spice today. Who do you think I am? Of course there's spice. I'm going to lead on the basic here. I think that has the highest degree chance of warping my opponent's plays. They might prepare for like Blood Moon nonsense when it is very much not Blood Moon nonsense. Alright, I have missed on my initial white source. I'm not quite 50% chance to draw a land next turn to just be able to play Fable and play a fair game of Magic. If we are playing against some control nonsense, like as we saw last round, like I have some very good inevitability if that's the case. Opponent tapped all their cards off their Brainstorm, which is always a scary thing. And now there's a pause. Ooh. Alright. That's quite bad for me. Okay. So that was no land in the top 3 cards. I really did need a white land in particular, but any land would have kind of turned this into a playable hand. That Wasteland plus missing these land drops together is putting me in a rough spot. So it looks like we are playing against Delver. This is going to be kind of a good news, bad news situation. The good news is I'm not very bad against like Delvers and Dragon Rage Channelers right now. Bad news is that a Murktide Regent will absolutely just want me. So, see where this goes. Okay, it is a Delver. I'm also going to be kind of bad versus like Daze type cards, at least in the short term. With 8 cards in hand here, I do just need to cast this so that I'm not discarding. And I don't think I go for Fury. Fuck. Okay. Okay. Oh, this fucking sucks. I'm gonna take a Force of Will. Now, because I know about Stifle, I am going to cast a Fury and try to get a 2-for-1 or a 2-for-2 with my Fury. This Fury is not going to do much while my opponent is untapped and can just stop the trigger. Alright, my opponent is letting it go. I will take this out, and they are going to instead opt to keep stuff around for later. Which I am unsure whether that is a good idea or a bad idea. They have another threat that they know about. It's probably pretty reasonable. Brainstorm is gone. I am a 4 leyline deck, right? No, I'm a 3 leyline deck, that's right. 5 pieces of Graveyard Hate, but 2 of them are Surgicals. I'm not willing to concede yet, but I think if my opponent puts like a Murktide Regent into play this turn, I will just tap out. Like, I am in a very bad situation with my opponent having Stifle, Wasteland, Force, Daze as known cards. I think once the second threat is in play, it's just like not realistic for me to win anymore, but I'll flail around a little bit until that happens. Oh, it's happening. Okay, yeah, that's a 6/6 Murktide Regent. Okay, and after missing that draw, I am comfortable conceding. Let's see what we can do. Leyline is reasonable, and red elemental blast effects are reasonable. I don't really like Scullers versus Lightning Bolts and such. I think those are going Showdown of the Scalds is really bad versus Days. Not too excited about that here. Then again, cards like Brought Back that have white pips early are a little rough, especially versus a Stifle version of the deck list. Maybe I'll kind of split the difference here. This is an unexciting hand that I don't think is a mulligan. I will go ahead and keep this. I'm going to confirm that I have one of each basic. Looking at this game here. I do, and I have 2 basic planes. Mountain, plain, swamp in some order. I think I just fetch a mountain at sorcery speed here to fully play around Stifle and call it a turn. I would be a little afraid of my opponent just dropping a turn 1 Dragon Rage Channeler as a Delver instead. I think I will red elemental that, blast that on my turn in all likelihood. A Triome. That is unexciting. I'm going to go ahead and just continue to fetch basics. And let's attempt to take out a Delver. All right, I've cleared the board. I have played around Stifle thus far. Let's kind of see where this goes. I have a lot of land, which is kind of the good news here. But my draws aren't exactly going to be smooth. Like, in trying to play around Wasteland, I'm making it harder for me to play a 5-drop on curve a couple turns down the line, in all likelihood. Not anymore. Let's go ahead and fetch this. Play a swap, pass. I'll cycle this end of my opponent's turn, and if they want to use a card to trade for one of my cards in that capacity, I am good with that. No flip. I guess the next question is, like, will Delver attack into 3 open mana like this when it's a 1/1? I don't know to what extent my opponent knows my deck list. They are willing to make the attack. That's fine. Brainstorm's also fine. And this, oh, nope, no immediate fetch to clear. That's all okay with me. I would like to find something to do that's more reasonable than what I currently have, because I don't just want to jam this onto the board. Yes, this is much better. Much better. I get to play this around a Daze, and if this doesn't get countered directly, it offers me a pretty good way to loot through some of these lands that aren't ideal right now. I mostly want, like, removal style things right now. I'll take 3 in the air from this. I am unsure whether my opponent lightning bolts this, but I'm guessing the answer is yes. Alright. Wasteland changes my evaluation of these a little bit. I don't like Grief here. I think I am going to loot away a Grief and one of the 2 lands. Alright, I have replaced it with a new land. I'm debating whether or not I want to fetch here. I think the line might be Pitchcast Fury. If my opponent counters that, if they just let it happen, I can fetch and use Brought Back. I feel pretty awkward about introducing the Monarch subgame right now. Alright. Attempt to nuke a Delver. Cool. This probably means that my opponent does not have Stifle. I have black, I have red, I don't have white. Probably pick up a Plateau. I could pick up another basic here, actually. Let's do that. And attempt to bring back Fury and that land. Alright, cool. I have a Fury in play. If my opponent doesn't have a Lightning Bolt effect, I get to start copying that. I kind of feel like they have a Lightning Bolt effect, though, because, like, they didn't fire off counterspells, so it feels to me like Lightning Bolt effects, Murktide Regents, those sorts of things are somewhat likely. It could also have, like, a Daze or something that I just naturally played around. They have a Bolt. They're supposed to do it before I untap this white mana. I don't want to see that. Those extra land drops here. Okay, that is getting stifled now. Which does put that to my graveyard. Let's see if I successfully deal 6 damage to my opponent. I will. Nice. I think I will play a land drop here. Like, drawing another Fable is a cool reason to hold those in hand. But I do just have like 5 drops in my deck that I need to cast around a daze. Oh, there is a Fable. This is half of my opponent's life total if this works. I'm having a little bit of a hard time reading what my opponent actually has in hand. It's no threats. It feels like they had plenty of opportunities to use counterspells already. Get rid of this. Make the old battlefield a little larger. Alright, Force of Will pitching a daze, so we did naturally kind of just play around that. And, see what happens. Okay, there is a Brainstorm, which probably opens the floodgates in favor of my opponent. They can find like a Murktide, Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, any other sideboard removal spell. Yeah, there's a Lightning Bolt. So I would say my opponent is now highly favored. Oh. Or that can happen. Play the Queen. It's the Queen. Nice. With the Queen in play, I am going to go ahead and play another land drop, because I have things like Brought Back that I can draw at my end step that I want to be able to play. I've picked up a Leyline of the Void. Probably a little late for that. Alright, Mystic Sanctuary returns Lightning Bolt. Oh, no ability to cantrip into it? Oh, that's very good. Alright, attempt lethal. That is a petty theft, sure. I think I just replay this and hold Solitude for next turn. Let's tap differently, though. Let's go 1, 2. Tap this, leave up the basic planes. And I am the pretty princess. Get an extra card. So I now know that my opponent can answer this. So their turn cycle is Lightning Bolt plus play Brazen Borrower, and then I will Solitude that creature away. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to play land drops at this point. Completely invalidate opposing soft removal to the best of my ability. Yep. Go to end step, draw a card. I'm going to let that resolve. Draw my card. And I'll go ahead and Solitude this away. Puts my opponent out of immediate lethal range, but it should be very difficult for them to have anything that's going to beat me here. Because, like, I have a Pyroblast, or an EI, or a Murktide, or whatever. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. A Price of Progress doesn't kill me. Which, yes, I know it is silly to be thinking about that, but I am thinking about that. Whoop! Alright, opponent goes to 2. I will drop the Leyline just in case it is relevant. I don't think it is, though. Take an extra card. Well, at this stage of the game, that's pretty cool. Alright, nice. Definitely have some questions about what was in my opponent's hand in the mid-game, or like how they used their resources. Because it felt real weird from this side of the table. I think I'm more or less happy with how I've boarded. The Showdown of the Skalds becomes slightly worse on the draw because of days. Again, Brought Back is a little awkward though if I want to be fetching basics, so I think I'm happy enough with the mix of things that I have here. Yeah, this has an early removal spell and plenty of land, and I think if I get to the point where I'm casting my big dumb stuff, I'm pretty happy with how this game goes. I'm also very happy that this is a Delver of Secrets, and not a Dragon Rage Channeler. So, would I like to play around days with Red Elemental Blast? I have incredibly good 3 and 4 drops that I don't want to get dazed later. Although I don't want to take damage from this, I think I would be okay trading for a daze here. And I would be ecstatic to trade for a Force of Will. Alright, I have successfully traded with daze. So now kind of the next big hurdle is, can I successfully get... Wow, Surgical? What is my opponent's logic for that? Brought Back, I guess? I guess it's Brought Back. Which I have 2 copies of in my deck right now. Alright, Solitude is cool. I think this one for basic planes right now. I've got that. I think it is worth Solituding pitching this. I believe Dragon Rage Channeler is the scarier of the two cards on the other side of the battlefield, even though Delver hits for more. Dragon Rage Channeler in 1 to 2 turn cycles will also be a 3/3, but it will fuel Murktide Regents and such, and I'm not really ready to fight against those yet. Bloodstained Mire is the next fetch land that I'm going to play, getting a basic swamp, then I play this, and I hope that things go well from there. Opponent hasn't really had a chance to just like cast a cantrip and find another mana source, which is good for me. You're a little too slow here. I think I'm going to be looting away this stuff. I think I just cast Fable normally. Grab a swamp and cast this. Okay, nice. Now that should mean that I get to loot every time next turn, unless a stifle happens. And if my opponent spends their 1 mana, nice. Lightning bolting this. And cool, we've gotten them to throw away Wasteland. Anyway, if they spend their mana lightning bolting this, they're not spending their mana developing their board more. Which is a win for me. And if they don't, I get to start to play cool stuff. I am probably getting rid of both Grief and Leyline of the Void. I need to dig for something like a Fury. Oh, cool. Only 3 types in Graveyard. I'm not taking maximum damage here. I can just die next turn, though. Like, I can, in theory, take 6 in the air and then take a lightning bolt to the face, and that's just the end. Alright. There is something else happening. Oh, please let me Fury. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please let me Fury. Oh! Okay. As of right now, I can hardcast it. So, if I choose not to loot, I can Grief, pitching Leyline of the Void, take a Force of Will type card from my opponent's hand, attack for 2, fetch, and hardcast Fury. I am not going to loot here. I don't want to take any chances. Alright. Attack for 2. Take my treasure. Opponent goes to 18. Grief. Pitch Leyline of the Void. Nice. I will take Expressive Iteration here, leaving my opponent with Ponder and Surgical. And I'll go ahead and fetch down to 8. For the future, do I want red, red, or white, white more? Probably just take a basic here. Use the treasure for the other one. And this is devastating. That's a 3 for 1. Now, did it cost me the grief and the black card along the way? Yes, but all caps oof in chat from opponent. 2, 1, 1. All my opponent's creatures are dead. And I will get to copy this next turn. Or, well, another turn down the line. We can see a very real cost of my opponent boarding in Surgical here. That's just not some other relevant card. I don't know exactly what they boarded out. Like, I can understand wanting Surgical to fight back against Brought Back, but it is not looking good here. That was a fast shuffle. All right. So I have... Oh my gosh, that's so good. I have a very swift clock here. So this is 8 incoming damage. And I'm going to fully be playing around soft permission here. Alright, my opponent is at 15, then 10 after regular combat damage. Now I'll drop another one of these. And my opponent needs like a Brotherhood's End. Like they need a 3 damage sweeper. And that's about all that I can think of that really saves them. If they do something like just play a Murktide, I copy Fury. They block 1. They die to the other creatures coming in. We have gotten the GG from the opponent. This deck is sweet, and we're 2-0. The matches are long, and they're not easy, and maybe there's some shakiness in some of the like mana base and mana requirements, but this deck's not bad. Okay. Do I keep this hand? Its first play is a turn 3 Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which doesn't really feel like it's up to snuff. I think I ship this one. This is a keep. And then it becomes a question of how greedy am I for which card I keep. I believe not having the second white source means that I pitch Brought Back, but in the Magical Christmas Land where I draw a white source in 2 draws, I can pitch cast Fury, pitch cast Solitude, and bring it back. If I wanted to live that dream, I get rid of, like, Swamp. I think that's too risky. I could pitch Solitude and then maybe keep Brought Back. I think I just plan on ephemerating a Fury on turn 1 and kind of hoping that does cool things. Alright. Oh. That's unexpected. This is Legacy. Am I fine with a 3/3 double striker on turn 1? I can wait. My opponent is almost certainly playing creatures. I think I wait. Oh, this is also probably Painter, not Affinity. Yeah, especially against Lightning Bolt effects, I think I just wait. Sorry, I played a Painter, I played a Pauper League yesterday, and I was playing against mono artifact lands, and that's where my head was at. Sure. That's fine. Not hit the white land. But do I want to, like, Fury or Solitude that? I can just Swords. Game's a little awkward. I am going to play this game slowly. I don't know if that's correct, but I'm going to play this game slowly. Yeah. Alright, Painter confirmed. 5 to bring back. Stop this. Okay, sure. And a Welder. That probably means it's Fury time. Especially now. This is indeed Fury time. We will Fury, pitching 1 Fable. It will kill both of those. And then I will go ahead and Ephemerate this so I can keep this around. And the Ephemerate will allow me to use that again in my upkeep to kill this token. No looting from my opponent. Lightning Greaves? Okay. Sure. Wild. Yep. So I am still going to get sick value off the Ephemerate, but maybe not quite as sick a value as I would have wanted. So cast it, target Fury. We'll kill both of these, 2 and 2. There's a Grief. So I have no playable cards here. I mean, like, technically I can play a Fury, but, like, that's not doing what I need it to do. This Lightning Greaves is absolutely fucking my shit up. Like, I went from feeling like I had this game completely locked up to feeling like I don't have anything very quickly. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. My opponent will name Blue, which not helping me pitch cast my stuff. This is gross. So they can now move Lightning Greaves. That's just a misplay, right? You can move it here first, and make a token that's a copy of it, and then you can move the Lightning Greaves over to here instead. I see. Sure. Is a little obnoxious. I would love to play this Fable. I don't know that I can. Kind of feels like I have to pitch cast the Fury and just let my opponent have 2 of these Welders. Just play this, exiling this. 2 damage here, 1 damage here. 1 damage can go there, although I'm not killing that. Then I lose Fury. Yeah, this Lightning Greaves won my opponent the game. For sure. Like, I'm not technically dead yet, but I think I am effectively dead. My opponent's returning a Painter. That probably means that they have access to Grindstone or have a Pyroblast. Either one of which is incredibly strong. Unearth is good. Alright, so they have 2 active Welders now. Yep, that's fine. They could have messed me up harder this turn with Phyrexian Dragon Engine. But they're just going kind of for maximum safety. Alright, there's a Dragon Engine. My opponent... Portal of Phyrexia. I remember this is bad. It's like sack 3 creatures, right? Sack 3 creatures at the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. Yeah? That feels pretty much unbeatable. My opponent goes for it on Phyrexian Dragon Engine here. I get to stop it, but if they go for it on Great Furnace, I don't get to stop it. Yeah, and they figured that out. I'm going to go ahead and concede here. I don't think I can win from that point. All right, in good news, I have some strong effects here. So Meltdown, Wear Tear, Stony Silence are all very strong. I don't think I want to get cute with this stuff. And Surgicals and Leylines are playable. Just kind of have to think about what I want to do. I don't love Sculler versus opposing Furies. I boarded out Sculler all 3 rounds so far. That probably means he shouldn't be in the deck, but like they're good at stapling together these, which I respect. So if I want to bring in all the things that I have, I need to board down 1 more card here. Jitsu Consumes All is a super potent haymaker here. I think I probably go down 1 Grief. Grief's just not very potent here. Like, unless I also want to attack the graveyard. But I don't know that I really want to do that. Like, going after Painter's Graveyard oftentimes means that, like, you've dedicated resources to things that don't stop their mid-range strategy, which is also quite good. I will absolutely keep this hand. Brought Back is very good. Probably have to pitch Solitude here, so I can Fury pitch Fable and use Brought Back to get more lands and another Fury. Alright, good stuff. And I also just do casually have this Meltdown here. Lightning Greaves, though. The card is so annoying, and I believe it's a 1-of in the deck list. Goblin Welder. Yep. Yeah, that invalidates my whole reason that I cut my hand. Oh, that's annoying. Like, it just means that I have to slow roll things and play like a Meltdown on turn 3 or something. But wow, Lightning Greaves is good against my deck in a way that I didn't really anticipate. I need to hit my 3rd land drop naturally here. And I'm only like 50% likely to do so. Alright. Do I need to just cast Brought Back here? If I wait until my turn, I can Fury Painter's Servant, and then Brought Back and get another land and deal with Welder later. That might be the play. Alright. Fury, pitch a Fable, send some damage at a Painter. My opponent will convert that into a Lotus Petal. That's acceptable. Fury goes to my graveyard. I'll fetch, maybe grab a Scrubland here. And Brought Back. Getting a Fury and an Arid Mesa. Wow. Basically, fuck Lightning Greaves is my general philosophy on life now. I've never gotten fucking so savaged by a Lightning Greaves. Oh, cool. This can search for any artifact, right? I can search for any artifact. I don't think Phyrexian Dragon Engine was the call there. But what do I know? Alright, they've gotten rid of the Lightning Greaves. Oh, I see. The Portal to Phyrexia was in their hand. That was... okay. I was wondering why they weren't doing Portal to Phyrexia, and the answer was it was in their hand, so they couldn't. Okay. Well, that doesn't eat a Meltdown. Yeah, I think I just concede here. I don't think I can win from this position. Lightning Greaves beats my deck. Alright, Tide Hallow Sculler. This is your chance. This is your moment to see whether or not you are a playable legacy card in the year 2023. Ordered you out every round so far. Time to redeem yourself. Marsh Flats go. Opponent has mulliganed once. I do have a piece of interaction for an early creature. Although, I'd probably be pitching Showdown, not Sculler. Alright, we are playing against a blue deck. That's all I know so far. Stifle check. No stifle. Basics? Basics seem fine. Go plains. Swamp with this. Swamp. Alright, what's going on over there? Statistically speaking, this is probably just a Delver deck. Okay, we are playing against elves. Of the stuff that's over there, the natural order is the scariest. This is annoying too. My opponent's got really good card draw here. But the natural order is the thing that just kills me outright. I can take that next turn, right? Usually. I could just take the Wirewood right now. And take the natural order next turn. I'm going to do that. And I will Solitude a Dryad Arbor at end of turn, I think. Assuming that's what my opponent's doing. It's just worth 2 mana right now. Yeah. Because of Cradle. So this means that my opponent only has 1 effective mana as of right now. Like, they'll play Boseiju, and then they don't have a follow-up play. Nice. Boo. Fuck them. All the elves are dead. All 1 of them. Alright, goodbye, Allosaurus Shepherd. It actually worked out very well for me that my opponent did draw that. And then I can take out the natural order with this. Okay. So there's the Cradle. Oh, I can actually just grief it away so it's gone forever. And I can Sculler a creature. I am thinking about whether or not I want to actually Sculler like the Leaf Crowned Visionary, so that can't get in play, and then grief natural order next turn. My opponent draws an untapped land. They cannot play natural order. Opponent draws a Heritage Druid. Play that. Tap for 2. Visionary 3. They still can't do it. Yeah, I think oddly enough, I Sculler here. Like this, then every elf afterward just gets bigger and harder to deal with, and I'm not willing to make this trade. Like, I can kill my opponent with Vessel of the All-Consuming at some point. Okay, this is fine. I think my opponent was supposed to attack first, though. I believe that is just objectively a misplay, because they would be very happy to trade for either one of these. And I'm going to go ahead and get a tapped Triome here. Make sure that I have 2 of all of my different colors of mana. Brought Back is cute. I'm not really in the mood for cute here. I am in the mood for murder. I have to take the natural order. Leaving my opponent with a glimpse is scary. I don't think I can attack with these. I have 2 attackers as of next turn, and as of next turn, like, Brought Back is very cute. Like, I can make weird attacks and then go from there. My opponent has how much mana? 3, 4, 5 mana, so they can't activate Allosaurus Shepherd as of right now. So do I want to attack with these Scullers, knowing that if my opponent trades with them, I can just immediately snatch the thing back again? Probably. Yeah, this seems fine. Does kind of feel like one of those, I know this is a trap, but I don't know how moments, because I, like, intentionally haven't attacked with these multiple turns in a row. Alright. My opponent goes to 8. Means that they are probably dead next turn. I'm not dead to an Allosaurus Shepherd activation. That's 5, 10, 15, 16. I counted that out ahead of time. Alright. This is not a good draw. So my opponent has 4, 5, 6 mana. So they can activate this. So they have 3 5/5s defensively. I have exiled a Dryad Arbor already, so there's not another one of those coming. I need to attack with enough things that my opponent will block. My goal is for them to kill the Vessel of the All-Consuming, and then I board wipe them with Brought Back. Will they play around Brought Back? That is really hard. I think I leave these back as blockers. Just attack with these 2. I'm very uncertain about that. Like, I'm trying to get this to die. And I think if I attack with more things, it might actually make it less likely that the thing I want to dies. Very nice. Okay. All good? Yes. Yes. Alright. Welcome to one of the most disgusting blowouts ever on this channel. 1, 2. Very nice. So I will now take the glimpse that I know about in my opponent's hand. There it is. And then nuke well, nuke 2 of their creatures. Good stuff. I think I forgot to play a land drop there, but we'll say I'm bluffing a card. Okay. Red splash? What does red splash represent? That's interesting. I don't think I want to endanger my Scullers in combat. The cards that I have under them are very good. At least not this turn. I think my opponent just takes this and go to 3, though. I don't know. Maybe I have to swing harder here because, like, a top deck natural order is so horrifying. Ooh, nice. So I get to kill this Quarian Ranger so these bouncy things don't keep happening. Oh. My opponent is trading for the Grief, not blocking and bouncing to save life. Okay. Huh. Alright, a new Quarian Ranger. I like to draw anything other than a land this turn, because I'll probably be confident swinging both of these in if I draw something other than a land. I can Ephemerate this to kill Quarian Ranger, and attack in for 4. Also attack in with both of these and do Ephemerate nonsense afterwards, especially in the case of a double block. I think I attack in with both. See how my opponent reacts. I think the answer is take 4, go to 2. Okay. Now I Ephemerate this and destroy this. Disgusting. This is fucking bullying right here. Alright, that was great. That was much harder than it should have been, though, considering how many powerful cards I played against my opponent here. I think I am on sideboard no cards. Just doesn't seem like any of this is going to do anything. Like, I have main deck Furies, Solitudes, Griefs, Tidehollow Scullers, ways to replay them. A main deck board wipe for CMC 1 cards. I think we're okay. Okay. So, I can start this game with a Solitude on my opponent's first creature and work towards a Fable of the Mirror Breaker and just keep this hand. Or I can try to mulligan towards a more objectively powerful hand that does something more broken. I think I'm just going to keep this. I don't quite have a feel yet for what is mulliganing too much with this deck list. Alright, there's a Dryad Arbor. But I think keeping this and just kind of treating this as a 6-card hand that removes my opponent's first creature 100% of the time is a-okay. I'm going to go with Apt Triome here, Solitude, pitching the Queen, taking out Dryad Arbor, and we do this now because of how good Gaia's Cradle is. And then we see how many creatures my opponent is able to spew out before I get to my endgame inevitability. Or like draw a Fury. Arwood's good. That it? This is a long pause. Wonder if my opponent has like... Okay, it's a Cradle. They were thinking about whether or not they wanted to play it out because of things like Wasteland. I see. Okay. Do I just 1-for-1 there? I mean, it's not really a 1-for-1. Like, it's my second 2-for-1. Not in favor of my opponent, but it keeps them low on resources. I can try to hold this Fury and get more value out of it, but Wirewood saves one thing in the first place anyway. I think I'm going to try to stick my opponent on resources here. I'm going to Fury, pitch this. Just kill that creature, and then use Fable to loot towards more things that do cool stuff. Sentinel's fine. Yeah, this is just, like, vastly slowing down my opponent's deployment of stuff. And I think I'm going to kind of stay on this train and just continue to disrupt them as maximally as possible, assuming that if I make it to 5 mana and I can just start hard casting Furies and Solitudes and stuff, that it will be incredibly good. Nice. Let's fetch here. What I get doesn't matter too much. Grab a Plateau. I will play one of these lands, I think, because then it means I can hard cast a 5-drop next turn, counting my treasure token. So while looting away 2 lands is tempting, I think I want that last land. Okay, and that's good enough for a concession. GG's. Yeah, we are 3-1 right now. This deck feels surprisingly good despite how clunky it is. Okay, this is a great example of a hand that has a good mix of lands and spells, but does literally nothing. I'm gonna ship this one here. And I'm not excited about this. Opponent says happy to see some kind of creative list. Oh, it's definitely that. Would I like to go to 5 cards? I have a bunch of pitch elementals and nothing to abuse them. I'm going to be missing land drops. I think I do go to 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 probably. I think blind, I keep grief over fury. This is a very good 5-card hand. Like, I am quite happy with this, and it's easily the best hand so far of all of these. A counterspell on the grief kind of would mess me up, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Planes. Grief. Pitch hit at Sugu. Oak trigger goes on the bottom. Target you with this. Oh ho. Alright, well, I know what's up. Playing against Cephalid Breakfast. I think I'm going to take an Illusionist and a Nomad here. Ephemerate. Actually, I messed up, but it's too late for me to fix it. So I was actually supposed to take Brainstorm and Nomads in core, so that my opponent can't Brainstorm and hide a combo piece when I rebound this turn. Yep. Alright. Ephemerate the Grief. Yeah, and there is the Brainstorm. Alright, let's see what we get to take here. I know my opponent has a way to get another Oracle. Urza Saga is kind of a pain. Aether Vial's worth a lot of mana. Aether Vial does nothing in the short term, but is a major pain in the long term, so I think I go ahead and just take it so that my opponent can't get like all these things into play with limited amounts of mana. I'm not super optimistic about my chances of beating this deck list. Just think they are going to line up well against the ways that I can interact with them. Are you gonna do the end of turn Brainstorm here? Like, just for raw mana efficiency? Or are you gonna cycle? Alright, it is the Wizard cycling. Or an Illusionist. Saga ticks up. Okay, they did find another land. A black card for Grief would have been okay. A land would have been fine. Fable's not very exciting here. I think I'm pretty likely to die to this combo. Like, my opponent can search up a Shuko with Urza Saga, play the Illusionist that I know about, and then combo off from there. But just because they can combo off doesn't mean that they do. I've gone multiple turns without actually playing anything, so they might not feel safe. Like, I could very easily have a Solitude or another Ephemerate or something that messes them up. Ooh, they also had Nomads in core. Yup. So unfortunately, I cannot beat them here. So what happens here, I'm just going to talk you through it and not make my opponent click through it. What happens here is they target themselves a whole bunch of times. They are going to get a bunch of Narcomoebas. They'll use a Cabal Therapy to target themselves to get the Thassa's Oracle out of their hand, and then they will Dread Return Thassa's Oracle. So I am going to go ahead and concede here and not make my opponent click through it. Now, technically all of my sideboard is live versus this deck and does stuff. So I think what I'm going to try to do is figure out what I don't want from the main deck. And honestly, the main deck cards are pretty reasonable. So my boarding here is going to be tough, because I can board in Torpor Orbs to stop the Thassa's Oracle kill, but then all these cards are kind of awkward afterwards. Like, similarly, Stony Silence can stop a Shuko, but not a Nomads in core. And if I board in Stony Silence, it stops my treasures off Fable. I think my plan is don't die to the combo, win somehow later. I don't know about Torpor Orb, though. It's like, I kind of need these effects. Queen feels expendable, despite the fact that she pitches for all of the elementals. Guller feels awkward. I'm going to get rid of that and board out like one Brought Back or something. I have a little bit of endgame inevitability, and then most of the rest of the stuff interacts with my opponent. Yes? The real question is, do I grief my opponent on turn 1? I don't think so. Opponent is going to 4. I think I wait 1 turn to see if I draw an Ephemerate or another black card. I think that's fine. Okay, just a land drop from my opponent. Solitude. Do I wait a second turn? That's probably greedy. Let's grief, pitch a grief. See what we can take here. Is a brainstorm. This is one reason to not grief on turn 2. But honestly, like, as long as I take a card here, I'm happy enough with it happy enough with the 2-for-1 that's not in my favor. Wow. Multiple Urza Sagas is going to be very tough for me to beat. That's super unfortunate. I could surgical a brainstorm here to take the cards that my opponent put on top of their library. But, like, they have a very clear game plan in hand already, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Yep. I think I'm going to get an end of turn Triome. Not immediately in range to cast a Brought Back anyway. Let's just kind of fix my mana here and make it so that I don't draw a tapped land. Missing this land drop is super bad. I needed to get this going so that I could work on doing cool stuff with this. Saga ticks up, then they'll play Flooded Strand. Okay, good. I did find a land drop. That helps an awful lot here. I have every kind of combination I could need. Up a plateau then, and drop a Fable. Okay, so I probably don't get comboed off immediately through a surgical, but it is a thing that could happen. These constructs are good. Oh, there's a pause here. Okay, it is going to be the... Oh, they're floating mana. That's scary. Shuko. I don't have priority, right? Oh, I can surgically extract Urza's Saga right now. I think I do. Okay, I know they have another one. Urza Saga, paying the life. Nice. Priority matters, folks. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of their deck list. Okay, anything interesting here? They are the Divining Witch build. That's good to know about. They only have 2 Narcomoebas in for this board configuration. Good to know. Alright. And they have shuffled. Yeah, so I went from, like, relatively dead to just 2 Urza Sagas to my opponent making a priority pass misstep for not playing around surgical. And I don't think I block here, because I think I just attack back, make a mana, and then play one of these 5-drops. My opponent didn't want to swords immediately. Opponent might swords me in combat. Slightly awkward. I think I just pitch Solitude here. Nice. Okay, they are not pulling the trigger on Swords to Plowshares. Alright, they go to 17. I think slightly awkwardly, I just hardcast the Fury and drop Pyroblast. The top card of their library is unknown. I think I just take this trade, Swords to Plowshares with Fury, and then be able to do cool things later with, like, Brought Back and Pyroblast. It leaves a very narrow window for my opponent's one unknown card that they draw this turn to be exactly Cephalid Illusionist. I don't know, maybe I should have kept the Solitude instead of the Fury, but I think I should have kept the Solitude instead of the Fury. It has Flash. Gives me more flexibility. Yeah. That's an error on my end. Okay. Not an error that was immediately punished in any capacity, though. Woohoo! So this treasure token that I'm going to get here is actually really huge. It means that I can play Showdown of the Skalds while leaving up Pyroblast. It goes to 15 here. And we go big. We go real big. Nice. What am I working with? Good cards. I always play Marsh Flats. Pitchcast at Solitude. I can Brought Back as an accelerant. I don't think I need to do anything yet, though. Like, these are playable until my next turn. Okay, would I like to Brought Back and just get another land drop? I think that's fine here. Or like a scrub land or something. Essentially just converts a treasure token into a more permanent mana source. Okay. I need to leave up a Pyroblast no matter what. And I want to kind of cast this stuff from exile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cast a Solitude. And we're just going to do this. Throw this goblin here. Not be exiling anything. I will go ahead and fetch now. Grab a scrub. Activate that, targeting a Solitude. Don't need to exile anything. I'll crash in for some damage here. Getting a treasure token. I suppose I can cast this Surgical for 1 more point of damage. It's very clear that my opponent doesn't have a source to Plowshares right now. I'm just going to confirm. This is until the end of this turn, yeah. I'm just going to make it so that they cannot easily just remove my aggressive creatures. Swords, 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 swords. Alright, cool. Hands pretty weak here. Actually, that's not entirely true, is it? They do wizard cycling with backup. Oh, fuck, I think I'm dead. Yeah, I'm super punished for trying to get 3 more points of damage. I didn't leave up Solitude as an extra layer of removal. Alright. Lesson learned, I guess. I will counter target spell if it is blue. My opponent can Force of Will pitching Narcomoeba, but I don't believe they actually have a kill here, because they have 1 Narcomoeba left in their deck. Like, I don't think I'm wrong here. So there's the first Narcomoeba. I believe that is the only Narcomoeba. So my opponent has milled themselves out, and they don't have more Narcomoebas. Yeah. I definitely messed up in trying to get the extra damage from Solitude. I didn't play around a very specific sequence of 3 cards. Yeah, my opponent has realized they boarded out an Narcomoeba, which does cost them this game. Yeah, you can look at my hand on the way out. It was not Surgical Extraction, it was a Brought Back. Alright, I do have to go to a game 3 against them, which I don't really want to do. I'm very, very unsure how to board. Like, again, I have more things that do stuff, but they don't necessarily do stuff versus everything. I don't know, but like, maybe if I just play a Torpor Orb and just slam some elementals, my opponent just dies. Like, what if I don't get, like, what if I don't be cute with this stuff and I just keep as much interaction as possible, and then just assume that if I get to end game, I have the larger creatures and I win in combat if my opponent can't combo me out. I have to be careful about dying to Urza's Saga if I do this. I guess that's what, like, Furies and Solitudes are around for, right? And Hidetsu consumes all. Board down 2 Fury. Well, maybe Stony Silence for Shuko specifically is too much of a reach. I just keep the Furies to make sure that I have enough threats. I believe this is a keep. I don't think it's an exciting one, but I believe it's a keep. Alright, opponent, what you got? Island pass. Ignoble start. I will just kind of match you. I don't like them having a Vial. I don't get to do a lot about that. Ryome. I'm just going to play that tapped here. Cabal Therapy on Surgical is kind of a pain here. Alright, there's an Urza Saga. Like, I have Fury for that long term. I don't want all these lands. I'm gonna, in fact, thin a couple of lands from my deck here. I have, like, a Plateau and a Scrub, maybe. Got Plateau Badlands. Again, doesn't matter too much here. I get to my 5th mana via this token next turn most of the time. I think overall I'm happy that this is a Fury. and not a Stony Silence. Like, the Stony Silence helps versus Vile, but eh. Alright. Being in movement. Nomads is fine. A Scholar. So I'm going to say yes to this. I'm going to loot away 2 lands. My basic that doesn't cost me any life. A Showdown. I don't think this is a Fury turn. I think next turn's a Fury turn. I think I play Scholar. It's just going to be safer for me. I still probably attack, though. The extra mana is valuable, even if this token or creature does end up dying in combat. Alright, my opponent is just going to take it. Then I'll go ahead and Scholar them, which may cause some weird things to happen in response. I can still pitch cast a Fury if I need to, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen, because things get kind of weird. I have to pitch cast this. Ooh. There's movement. Wizard cycling? Brainstorming, sure. That is indeed awkward for me. I can potentially surgical something here. Multiple swords to plowshares. Understood. I'm going to take your ponder. I'm going to take your ponder. This just gets Shuko next turn, so I don't get a lot for just killing this with Fury. I'm going to go to my end of turn. My opponent is going to Swords to Plowshares this Tidehollow Scholar. Nice. That gives them ponder back. Now, I know they have another Swords to Plowshares, so I'm going to surgically extraction that and shuffle the good cards off the top of their library. Alright, swords, 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 swords. Their last card here is Ponder. A picture of that for later. 3 Narcomoebas now. Configuration looks about the same. Very Time Rattler to think about now. Alright, good stuff. And this vial now stays on 2 forever, because my opponent doesn't have larger creatures. Alright, they are going for a Brainstorm, and then they can then shuffle afterwards. I assume they're going to make an artifact token. Ooh. Oh shit. Did you draw Cephalid Illusionist? Wow. What an insane fucking Brainstorm. That's very frustrating. Yeah, an opponent in chat said that was the perfect Brainstorm. Yeah, like, because I beat you going for the combo with Surgical Extraction. Actually, I still might win. No, they won't sacrifice the Grand Abolisher. Alright, so the first Narcomoebas are coming in. Alright, they have milled themselves out. They've hit the last Narcomoeba. The only way I'm not dead is if they, for some reason, sacrifice Grand Abolisher to Dread Return, which they very clearly shouldn't do for any reason. Yeah, it's still in play. That's very frustrating to lose there. Like, I am very happy with how I played that one, and I just lost to the absolute perfect Brainstorm. Alright, so let's go ahead and wrap this up here. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Honestly, this deck was a ton of fun to play, but this deck is really clunky. It mulligans a lot. It's pretty reliant on having an Ephemerate or a Brought Back to have really impressive early turns. Otherwise, you're kind of slow. When we start reaching turn 4+, this deck list really starts to do its thing, and it has really good inevitability with Showdown of the Skalds, the Monarch, blinking or copying Furies and whatnot. Like, there's a lot to like about this deck list. I don't know how ultimately competitive this deck list is, but, you know, if not for the Hail Mary Brainstorm at the end there that just went absolutely perfectly, you know, we win that one. But, you know, they brainstormed into a Grand Abolisher and their Cephalid Illusionist at the same time, which is pretty unlikely, especially considering like that I kind of knew everything that was going on over there. So, c'est la vie. As far as like thoughts on the sideboard and everything, the Torpor Orbs feel weird, not necessarily bad, just weird. They kind of have positive and negative synergy with the deck at the same time because you can cheat out the elementals, but it also stops the triggers. This is a lot of fun, and like Showdown of the Scalds, hitting another Showdown of the Scalds is really cool. But ultimately, I think with a large sample size of playing this deck list a bunch, I would probably find that like this one is closer to a thumbs down than a thumbs up. But as far as something to try out for like a fun league with your rental service or for your local event, this gets a huge thumbs up from me. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. See ya!